Thank you so much for everything. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our channel, USMLESarthi. We are so excited to discuss the interview trends and the match journey so far for the 2024 match. Here I am Shayla. I'm the VP of Student Success here at USMLESarthi, and I have with me Pawan Kira, our Chief Mentor and Owner. So we want to kind of go through some of the data that we are seeing so far with our students. So I'll go ahead and share this. Okay, so we are about 45 days or so into the season. So interviews have definitely been offered to many students so far. And so we just want to kind of talk about what it looks like so far for our students, what they've been reporting. We want to dispel some myths that maybe are out there. Is this season more competitive? Is it possible to get interviews if you have an older year of graduation? Can you get interviews if you have low step scores? What if you don't signal a program? Are they going to offer you interviews? So we want to just kind of go through some of those things and see what's been happening so far with our students. So up through November 9th, 2023, our students have reported about 930 interviews total amongst all of our students. So that's pretty impressive. We're pretty excited and congratulate all of them on those so far. So today we're gonna, like I mentioned, we're gonna go through just kind of the trends in our data, the year of graduation, the visa status of students, whether they signaled the programs or not, step scores and things like that. And then of course we can talk about how we can help any of you who are hoping to get more interviews or prepare for interviews as well. Okay, so let's jump in. So this first one is the year of graduation. It's obviously divided by less than 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 6 to 10, 11 to 20, and then 21 or older years of graduation. So the main point here is these last 3 bars. So if it's 6 years or older, is 29% of our students or of our interviews are in that category. So definitely still getting interviews even if you have an older year. And our very oldest year of graduation is 25 years old. So there you can get interviews. Year of graduation is a factor, but may not be the only thing they're looking at. So Pawan, did you have some comments on this? Is there anything surprising here?
Yeah, so that's a insightful data. So some things are obvious, the recent year of graduation, you should expect more interviews. YOG is a filter, so there's no surprise about 45% interviews have gone to recent year of graduations. But again, a myth that if you are an older YOG, you don't get interviews is simply not correct. As you can see, our students with 6+, 10+ year of graduation are getting interviews. In fact, the oldest one that is a visa seeking applicant, already I think 3 to 4 interviews in internal medicine as a 25-year-old or so YOG. So the idea here is match is a portfolio of things. YOG is just one of the factors. If you have an old YOG, then there are other things that we talk about in our classes, whether it is the improvement in your profile or reaching out to the programs in various ways, doing a strong interview preparation. So even if you have 1 or 2 interviews, you can match. So there are things that can help you overcome the year of graduation. But yes, recent year of graduation is always a good idea.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so our next kind of fun fact here is the top states that we're getting interviews. So not surprisingly, you can see New York is #1, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan, and Texas. Those are the top 5. Over half of our interviews reported for our students are in those top 5 states. So those are going to be your big majority where IMGs are getting interviews. And then you have the rest of the top 10, Alabama, Illinois, Florida, California, and Louisiana. So really, really interesting to just kind of pay attention to where those located and where you kind of want to focus your attention as well. And then another fun kind of fun fact that we thought was interesting in pulling the data is our students have been offered interviews in 45 out of the 52 states and territories. So that's almost across the entire United States. That's pretty impressive that even in the non-IMG friendly states, we're getting interview offers. So.
Yeah, so that is very interesting. Thank you for pulling this data, Sheila. 45 out of the 52 states and territories is a big deal. So you can see that even in the IMG and friendly states, say state of Washington or Oregon or some of those states, there could be programs specifically where you may have a network connection and interviews are possible. So that's one thing everyone should be aware of. Overall, of course, the top 5 states, I don't think there are any surprises. East Coast, Midwest, historically been very IMG friendly. So that's where, for those of you preparing for even next year, when it comes to rotation opportunities, research opportunities, focus on these states. And we do have several rotations in these states as well. Research opportunities with Dr. Weissman, of course, in New Jersey. So if you are visa seeking applicant, I think the top 5 to 6 states will help you. A couple of states you may be wondering, California is IMG friendly if you don't need visa, and if you are, say, a resident of California, really, really powerful. Alabama has certain programs which are open to IMGs, University of Alabama, for example. Illinois is a bit of a surprise. I would have expected it to come on, in the top 5 to 6, but maybe as more interviews are reported by Sarthi students, you'll see Illinois move up. But overall, like I said, these 5 to 6 states on the top or top 10 are where most IMGs will end up matching. So focus your rotations, research, outreach efforts in those states. However, just because you live in an IMG unfriendly state does not mean you cannot get interviews from there. I think one of the territories is Puerto Rico, Sheila, from where the students got the interview. So it depends on your strength and the profile.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, and then this is talking about step scores. So I pulled the data based on low score, so 220 or lower is what we were looking at. It's just impressive to note that there's been about 155 interviews offered to those applicants who have a step 1 score, 220 or lower. And then about 105 interviews offered to those applicants that have a step 2 score, 220 or lower. And then I pulled even those who have both step 1 and step 2 are 220 or lower, and there were still about 51 interviews offered to those students. And then again, step 3, about 72 interviews offered to applicants who haven't taken step 3 yet. So just kind of interesting to look at. Again, step score is a big factor, but there's just so much to look at. It's not a hard and fast meaning you can't get interviews. So yeah, any comments on that?
Yeah, so like you said, it's a portfolio of things, and step scores are one of the most important things. However, they're not the only thing. For example, if you are a recent graduate, or if you have very high step 1 or CK score, you may not need step 3, right? So as you can see, 72 interviews without a step 3. So don't look at these things in isolation. It obviously step 1 score 220 or lower. That's very impressive that even with lower scores, students are getting interviews, possibly doing a lot of outreach, possibly they had strong research experience, or sometimes they don't need visa. So all these factors go in. Again, scores are important, but not the only important thing to get the interviews. And of course, one of the things you will notice, it does not include the step 1 pass. So there will be many applicants who have step 1 pass. So maybe in the next video, we can talk about that. But the step 2 and step 1, both lower than 220, I think that is very interesting. We still got 50 or so interviews if the scores are lower. So it goes to show that there are other factors you can focus on to get the interviews.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Okay, another common question that we hear is, if I don't signal a program, are they still going to offer me an interview? Do I have any chance of getting an interview? And this chart will show that, yeah, definitely. So even 65% of the interviews that have been reported were with programs that the student had not signaled. So that's definitely not going to be a major factor. You can definitely still get interviews without signaling a program. So yeah, any comments on this data?
Yes. So thank you. As you rightly said, internal medicine or some of the other IMGs specialties are limited in signals. So I think, had only 7 signals. So there was initially a lot of concern among the students. I have signaled these 5 or 6 programs or 7 programs, not getting the interview. Does it mean I'll not get any interviews? But I think as the trend is showing, even if you have not signaled the programs, there is a very strong chance that you can get the interviews. Now, it all depends, like we talk about in our classes, on outreach and maybe you've done research in that program, maybe not signaled or other. So there are a lot of factors that go in on the interview, and signaling, you are only limited to 7. Of course, when you're signaling a program, you would expect the program to take your interest seriously, but sometimes there is also a mismatch in the signals. I mean, you may be signaling a stretch program, your profile may not add up to what the program is looking for. So signals are done and dusted. So move on and focus on outreach to programs wherever you have now applied. And as this data shows, you can still get a lot of interviews from programs that you have not signaled.
Right. Yeah, very, very helpful. Okay, so the next piece is visa requiring. So this is a pie chart looking at how many interviews were offered to those that are visa requiring versus non-visa requiring. As you can see, majority of our students are visa requiring applicants. Almost 63% of the interviews were offered to applicants who need a visa. So that's another myth that students are often worried about. Can I still get interviews if I need a visa? And our data shows yes. So yeah, what are your comments on that?
Yeah, so I think this goes to when a student is applying, you really have to consider the program. The program research or the program list you end up making is very important, and Sarthi students have access to the program list. So if you are a visa requiring applicant, you focus on those programs that do offer visa. But yes, you're right. It is a myth that visa requiring applicants, especially in some of these IMG friendly specialties like IM, are not getting interviews. As the data shows, about 63% of the interviews are from visa requiring applicants. So I think it all boils down to the type of program you apply, the due diligence you put in at the time of application, that determines where you're going to get the interviews from.
Right. And I think it shows our students too, that's kind of where we focus our attention, is on visa requiring IMGs. So
yeah, so those programs are important if you need visa. Now, of course, we haven't broken it down to H1B or J1. So a lot of these programs are J1 accepting, but still visa requiring student is a visa requiring student.
Right. Okay, and then this is our last kind of slide here talking about the data. We wanted to just kind of get an idea of what type of programs students are getting offered. So about 31% of the interviews offered are at university programs. So again, another myth, can I match with visa requiring or those types of things at a top program? And we have been getting a significant amount at these top university programs. So that's helpful to look at the data there too.
Yes. So again, as many of our students will know, university programs do look at recent graduates more closely. So many of these interviews would be going to recent graduates, high scores, a well-rounded personality. But absolutely, whether it comes to University of Connecticut or Rutgers or any of these top universities, they are sending out invites to the students. So university program match is not as hard as you may read up or others will have you believe. So it's all about profile. If it fits a university, then why not? You will get interviews from the university programs as well. I think the lesson here is it's been about 45 days, as you said. There are these trends that we are seeing. Our students, or if you're not our student, at this point, what you can do, maybe program outreach, maybe keep working, improve your profile, let the programs know how you have improved your profile. Maybe it's step 3, and all this can still get you interviews.
Yep, absolutely. It's not over till it's over. So we definitely believe there's more you can do at this point. Okay, great. Did you want to add anything else in summary before I kind of move on to our plans?
So, no, I mean, this is one kind of analysis we want to share with you. And very soon, next week, we'll have more on the analysis and how you can probably prepare for the interview season. And for those of you applying next year, we have done some extensive analysis on the ERAS application as well. But like I said, overall, it's the complete portfolio that the programs look at. Even now, the season is not over. So like we keep telling our students in terms of outreach, there are various techniques that we talk about. And if you do have interviews, focus on preparation, because, interviews are hard to come by. The season is getting more competitive. So if you have interviews, spend time preparing, whether it's with Sarthi or yourself. There are a lot of resources out there that can help you prepare and do well in your interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So yeah, thank you. We're glad that we were able to kind of walk through that. It's really interesting to see some of the trends, and some things definitely surprised even us too. So yeah, we just want to talk about what how Sarthi can help. So at this point, if you have already applied, you're ready to prepare for interviews, we do offer 2 great plans. Our Silver Interactive, which comes with a one-on-one mock interview with Pawan himself. So you get to kind of get some feedback, practice an interview. You'd also get to join live classes, practice answering a lot of those common questions, kind of get some of the bugs out. And then we also offer interview insights, which allows you to see our prior students, kind of their experience at that location. So that's pretty insightful. And then we also have our Silver On-Demand plan, which comes with a self-recorded mock interview, AI driven. So again, you can record yourself practicing an interview, and then we can give you feedback on how that went. And again, that one does come with the recorded classes and the interview insights as well. In addition, you can add on mock interviews. So we do mock interviews with a couple program directors that we work with, or with residents and attendings that we work with as well. And those are going to be one-on-one, face-to-face, just like a real interview. You can kind of practice and get feedback on how those are going. So mock interviews would be pretty insightful. So that's how we can help you at this point. So make sure to contact us if you're looking for help. We can give tips on more program outreach, how to write that letter of interest, all those types of things too. So we'd be happy to help you on your match journey this year. And then for those of you who are applying next year, you're just getting started here and ready to apply September 2024 for the 2025 season. We can also help you from the beginning. We offer one-on-one mentorship meetings, PSCV reviews, obviously all the interview practice sessions, the mock interviews. You have access to a program list. It's a list of programs that we recommend you apply to based on your profile. So that's pretty helpful. Our students have enjoyed using that tool. And then obviously all the mentorship, the community, having lots of students in the same position as you. So we're offering those plans. We'll be opening them officially soon for next year. And so check out our website so we can guide you on your journey.
Yeah, and thank you, and good luck in your math journey, and let us know how we can help.